Welcome to my podcast talking about cold cases. And tonight we're going to be talking about Susan Swedell. She was 19 years old when she went missing. Susan was on her way home from her job at Kmart in Oak Park Heights a little after 9 p.m. on January the 18th of 1988. Her car started to overheat, so she pulled over to a gas station and she went inside and asked the attendant if she could park her car. And the attendant gave her permission to leave her car at the gas station, um, which was not even a mile away from her home. The clerk reported to the police that when she saw Susan pull in, a car pulled in as well, right behind her. So the car was actually a light-colored, older model car with sports wheels that was in good shape but really dirty. The clerk also reported that she saw Susan get into the car with the man, and that was the last time she was seen. Susan's mom, Kathy, stated, "I could barely see across the street. We didn't know if she had stopped someplace or tried to walk home. There was actually a blizzard that night." Officers did go out and look for her, and by the time they found her car, there was no sign of Susan anywhere. There is still a $25,000 reward in this case to find her. The man's info, what he looked like. He's described as slim, 6 foot or 6'2", with long sandy brown hair and a beard. Supposedly he was wearing a cap as well. So when police got to her car, they found Susan's glasses, her ID, and her purse. Pioneer Press reports that Susan had been talking with several men. Her coworkers said she received several phone calls at work from a man. Technology then was behind where it is now, so it made it difficult for police to nail down a suspect. Like it is now, there's caller ID, and then you can locate the phone number through whatever systems they use. So after graduating high school, Susan went to the University of Wisconsin at River Falls. She got very homesick, so she moved back home, said Christine. And Christine is Susan's younger sister. Susan had 2 jobs, one at a small clothing boutique called Body and Soul, and then at Kmart. So the day that she went missing, Susan opened the clothing store at 9 a.m. After her shift ended at 1 p.m., Susan headed to Kmart for a shift there, which started at 1:30. And she was seen at both of those jobs, said Christine. Let's see. And she had actually was talking to Dateline. Kathy took Susan's car after they found it to a mechanic, and he checked the car out, and he had said at the bottom of the radiator there was a drain plug, and that drain plug is called a petcock. The mechanic determined that petcock was loosened, and so coolant had been leaking, causing the car to overheat. There is speculation that maybe that's what Susan experienced that night on the way home. A police officer told Dateline the mechanic believed that someone would have had to have tampered with it, but authorities had no proof of that. The police brought the gas station attendant into the office and had her look through a book with pictures of cars in it, and she pointed out a 1979 Ford LTD, and the police officer said she also described it as possibly being a late 70s Thunderbird. Now, this is really, really weird. A week after Susan went missing, something strange happened. The Swedells returned home and found that the key that opens the back door to their house was in the wrong spot. And when they went inside, they found dirty dishes in the kitchen that hadn't been there when they left. That's weird. Christine says that she had found a pair of red pants that had not been there before. And they think they'd been thrown under her bed in her bedroom, in Susan's bedroom. The family also noted an odd sweet smell that they thought might have been actually a smell of weed. And, in that time frame, people smoked weed a lot. Nothing wrong with that now. It's legalized in a lot of states. It's believed that Susan had worn those red pants for the first part of the day that she went missing, and then changed into something else when she went to Kmart. So yeah, there's been nobody arrested so far for this case. There's no body been found. There's been leads, but those leads have went to dead ends. So the family and the police are asking that if you have any information about the disappearance of Susan, please reach out to the Washington County Sheriff's Office Investigations Tip Line. And that number is 651-430-7850. Or the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension Tip Line, and that number is 877-996-6222. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put those numbers in the description box, as well as the credits to the website that I found her case file through. So yeah, I want people to hear these cold cases, and maybe, something might click in their brain and they can actually help solve a crime. These people need to be found and charged, rightly so, for killing or taking somebody, so let's help these investigators and these families find what really happened to their loved ones. So yeah, thank you again for listening to this podcast today. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Have a good night. Bye.